Hey everybody, welcome to Pick Up the Truth. Now on the screen you're going to see a picture of a straw man. Now, what is a straw man? Well, in reality it's a misrepresentation of a real man. A truthful man, a true man I should say, not truthful man. It's kind of like the straw men they create us to be in this system, in this society that we were born into. Now, what do I mean by that? I mean, your name, your first name, your last name, it was given to you because the government said we needed it to differentiate ourselves between each other, to define who we are, even though we don't have a choice in the matter because we're way too young to even pick a name for ourselves. So somebody picks that name for us and forces us to be that for the rest of our lives. And this is the straw men we become, straw men or women that we become by no choice of our own, but it was given to us by the government that defines who we are. They forced our parents to define who we are as soon as we're born. And they forced our parents to build a straw man or woman for whoever we are. They give us our name, first name, last name. They give us our birth certificate. They take our hand prints, palm prints, footprints, you name it. They have everything about you documented while they create a misrepresentation of who you really are, and that's the straw man that they get your parents and the government to create for us, for you, when you're born. And we continue to think it's okay to live this way. I mean, we do a lot of things without the permission of the person that we do it to. It's our children. And we've been programmed to think it's okay just to give them a name that they might not like. But that's only the beginning of the things they do to us under this straw man. So we go by this straw man all our lives. Our parents are programmed to teach us words and how to talk before they are forced to send us to these indoctrination centers to learn the languages and numbers. Pretty much they program our parents to teach us the language in our country they want us to speak and be controlled by. They want to teach us the numbers they want us to be enslaved and consumed by. just because they created the money so we can buy back the land that they've stolen from us. It's a world we find ourselves born into. It's the people we find that it's the people we find that has been created for us. Given a choice in a true world, in a world that's based in truth, none of us probably would have chosen the life we live right now. More than likely, we would have chosen to do something that's creative, that doesn't require payment of money or compensation, but just we would start to do things that were freely creative and freely helpful towards others, or useful somehow to us or our families. And but instead we're programmed to do things in mass. And what I mean by that, in mass, everybody's programmed to do it repetitiously the same for the most part. Everybody's programmed to be alike, to be similar. But we're programmed to divide, so we can't unite, or it makes it harder for us to unite with each other. Excuse me. These things, they may make us feel bad all our lives, but it's not our fault ultimately. If we continue doing the things they program us to do, knowing that it's enslavement, knowing that they control and manipulate us with it, then yes, it is our fault. If someone tells you the truth about something and you fail to see how it controls and manipulates you and even enslaves you, and you refuse to acknowledge it or recognize it happening to yourself, then yes, you are at fault for turning your back on truth and seeing how it can help you. I see people do it all the time. People turn their back on truth every day, and they refuse to deprogram from the world that enslaves them and programs their minds. That's why it's important that we deprogram ourselves from the ways that they've taught us to be. You don't want to be a misrepresentation of who you truly are, who you naturally are, just because the government forces your parents to do things a certain way. That doesn't make you the person you naturally were meant to be. You may not even like the name that they've given you and that you've had to live with all your life. Some people change their names. I always thought that was funny. I was programmed to think that was strange. Why would somebody want to change their name? I thought about it when I was a child. I was like, I would never change my name. My mom gave me my name. My dad gave me my name, but That's what I was programmed to think, and until I found out the truth. That we're all repetitiously programmed to have these straw men names. It doesn't mean that's who we are, even though they try to get us to be that person. It's a misrepresentation of who we naturally are, the straw men. Your name. I mean, you go around, you introduce yourself as that name. They force you to identify as that name, that identity they created for you. You introduce yourself every day to someone new with that name. You take pride in that name, but you don't realize there's millions programmed to have the same name. It's nothing special. And sure, there's some unique names out there, but it's the same. They program you to be straw men in this world, straw men or women. A misrepresentation of who we naturally are. And we accept it. And we live that way. And we're controlled that way. And we're enslaved that way. And we walk around thinking this way is normal. This way is how it's meant to be. This way is how the one that created us wanted us to be. Do you really think that this is how we were created to live? We can easily see that it's not. We can compare our lives to the lives we see in nature. And we can tell the way we're living is not the same as nature lives. We weren't meant to be enslaved this way. But we continue to be programmed to do the same thing to our children when we have them. We'll give them that name. We'll think it's normal. Programmed to think it's normal. So we do it. You say, well, I'm just one person. I can't do anything to stop what's happening to everyone. And they're always going to have control over us if we keep continuing to think that way. But if one after the other, after the other, after the other stops being controlled by this system that manipulates us in such an awful way, I mean, if all of the things that we've experienced in the last 2 years hasn't shown you that this is a system of manipulation and control, and I don't know what else will, because it's been awful, the things that they've manipulated the public's minds with, all of our minds with, and tried to control us with over the last couple years. How do we accept a society that is so truly awful and unbeneficial to humanity? Are we really going to accept this way they control us as people? Look at all the programs they tried to get us to believe in, just to control us more, and they try to get us to think it's a normal way of living. We'd be better off just telling them they can keep their system, they can keep their money. I'm going to learn how to live off the land that was naturally created for me. It's better for my family. I don't have to be dominated by a society that tells me how I need to be living, or tells me how I need to be raising my family, or tells me how I need to be thinking, or even defines who I'm supposed to be. Why would I allow a system to do all of these things to me and still only offer me a fucked up existence? A controlled existence to where somebody can tell you what to do and when to do it. Why would you sacrifice all of these things you naturally are, your natural freedom to be who you truly want to be? Why would you sacrifice? Why would any of us continue to sacrifice who we truly are for the people who enslave and control us? And it's obvious that they do. You can see they're not hiding it any longer. They have real people in lockdown situations. And they've had these people in these lockdown situations for a very long time now. Why, as a people, are we still accepting their society? Why are we still accepting to live by the money they control us with? Why are we still accepting how they steal our land and our resources and keep it away from us? Why are we still accepting all of these things that they fuck our minds up with? They control billions with mass mind control. All of the things in politics, all of the things in religions, they're just, and I'm not talking about just Christianity, I'm talking about all the religions they created. Mass mind control. The knowledge they taught us in the indoctrination centers, you think you can rely on what they taught you, how they taught you to be enslaved? It was all mass mind control. And yes, there are true human experiences mixed in. And that's the complicated part. This is a system of belief. It's not just a system of enslavement. They make you believe in this, what enslaves you. That's how it works so well. You used to be able to enjoy your life in this enslavement. It's hard to do that now. Now all you're seeing is the ugly ways they enslave and control you to be. But it's time you wake up to that and say, why am I accepting this? Why do we live this way as people? This is not how humanity's going to thrive and prosper and advance. Is this how we're going to be better people? Is this how we're going to not be manipulated and not be controlled? I don't think so. We need to stop, look what's happening, open our eyes, try to make sense of it truthfully, and refuse to participate in it. This is real, guys. And it's time we make a real stand for truth. It's time we deprogram ourselves from the straw men they create us to be. Think of another name that you might like to use. It doesn't have to be legal. Stay away from the legal system that controls us. Think of a name that you'd really like to be called and break free from the straw man they created you to be. don't recognize how they control us. Survive by the money as least as you can. Try not to feed the system that enslaves billions of people around this earth. And that's what this money does. It doesn't matter if it's our money, another nation's money, it's all the same. You're feeding the system. You're feeding the system that enslaves many. And we need to wake up to this awful way they manipulate us with anything they want, anytime they want, with anything they want. And the millions are controlled this way. Now, the ones that are trying to deprogram, that's great. That's great. But don't hang on. Don't hang on to the other ways they program you to live and think it's okay. Don't continue putting your belief in the things that you know they're going to lie to you about. We have to recognize that this system to the core is no good. This system to the core defines who we are as the straw men slaves. Refuse to be that. Create your own truthful person, who you are. You're the creator of who you are.